Hey guys, welcome back. It's Kevin. I'm working on a song this week and I'm getting to a point where, I need to record vocals, which is always my least favorite part of it. Come up with some transitional elements to bridge certain sections. And I figured, hey, I might as well show you guys the process. It's not something I do very often, but it's something I'd like to explore, so here we are. And for this, I just have a C in this clip right here. And right now it's just set to a piano. And we'll come up with certain instruments and we'll see what's usable, what isn't usable. I also have a drum clip here. Maybe we'll use that. If not, maybe it'll just kind of play in the background as we are working. So you can see how it would fit into the context of a song. So the first thing I want to do is grab a synthesizer. And I'm not going to use one of my own presets this time. Let's explore what Ableton has to offer. So that's kind of harsh and cool. Let's play with that. I'm just copying the clip over because I'm probably going to end up freezing it so I can have an audio file to play with. So to start, I'm going to adjust some parameters in the synth itself, and then we're going to start exploring with effects. So we're going to freeze and flatten right here. And I like to use the clip automation for this part. It just makes it so that every time you reload this clip, it's going to keep doing consistent automation changes. Sometimes it's easier than using the whole automation lanes thing, as great as that is. It just keeps it simple, and I like to try to keep things as simple as possible. So something very basic we can do is even just like a crescendo. So you can kind of hear the transient here in the second bar. So let's actually just make this shorter. So that already, you can see how that can add tension to a transitional point, maybe moving up into a chorus section or something. Let's build on that. So I'm just trying to get a crunchy tone because what I'm going to do next is automate the dry wet knob using the parameters in the clip to kind of just add another layer to that tension. So it's subtle, but as we add multiple layers of subtle things, it'll make something different than what we started with. So I kind of like how there's almost like a feedback element when you lower the rate on this delay. So I'll probably do an inverse where I start it pretty long and shorten it as it gets to the end. Just got to make sure I pick the right parameter, right? So I guess it's called the spray parameter. All right, let's go with that. Okay, that's pretty cool. And I'm just going to adjust the dry wet a little bit so it's not so dramatic. Maybe a little more. What else? I think a little reverb goes a long way, really adds that element of space. So it's got almost a mechanical feel because of the grain delay, which is cool. And I wasn't going in with any solid picture of what I wanted. So I think this is pretty usable the way it is. So let's go ahead and print this one. So it looks very different from what we started with. And what's cool is that you get kind of like two halves to it. So if you wanted to do a build up, you could cut it right here at the second measure and it'll just give it a hard stop. And it'll just let whatever comes next carry the torch onto the next part of the song. Or even vice versa, like you could reverse it or even use the second half of this wave to kind of wind down into maybe a verse section. It's got a very splashy effect to it, which I like. So let's keep that one. This is the kind of thing where it's just so you know, there's really no rules. You're not even trying to make music, you're just making crazy sounds, and the sky's the limit. Your imagination is the limit. You can literally just throw anything on it. You can do this like 5 times, just keep printing it and adding new flavors and new effects, and it's kind of wild. I hope you learned something, or at least gained some interest in the process. I hope you found it somewhat entertaining. I know I had some fun doing it. And before we go, I just want to give a shout out to my Patreon members, Andres and Samantha. You guys are helping me keep the dream alive, so thank you so much. I do have a free membership tier for my Patreon. I give goodies out there as well as post stories, usually once a week. So if that's something you're interested, please feel free to check it out. It's patreon.com/hotpotproductions. And even if you just enjoyed the video, I appreciate that so much. I'm learning as I go, and I like to think I'm getting better with time. So stick around. I'll see you in the next one. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good YouTube stuff. And I hope you have a great day. Take care.